and 1. We are now live with Q&A episode 26. That's question and answer, where we question C.S. Joseph with as many torturous questions as we can, and some not so torturous, Mr. Jab. So, question and answer.
Yes.
Episode 26. So, and
welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to CSJ Question and Answer, episode 26. Here with your host, CS Joseph, and with co-host CS Jabba.
CS Jabba, the Jab.
Tonight we will be taking your questions and giving you answers.
You know, I think I need to like wear a Mandalorian helmet when I do question and answer. You know what I'm saying? Just to kind of make it a little bit more official, you know, because you're obviously the boss.
Right.
What's up, Nick's Plasma? What's going on? Hey, yeah, what's up?
You know, I think I'm going to pack my suit when I come down to California, and like we'll stream in suits.
Oh yeah, I go stream in suits. Never not stream in suits. We'll stream in suits, and I'll be wearing a Mandalorian helmet at the same time. That's
perfect.
Like, yeah, exactly.
We'll even buy top hats just to pimp it out.
Hats. Pimp it out, huh? I mean, purple top hats. I mean, with a cane.
Yeah, with a cane, exactly. We'll get like a cane
with a knife or a gun inside the cane. You know, what are we going for here, Jab? What are we?
I think you need to go. I think you need to go with the knife, just so that if your ESFP superego activates, you can just be like, "I like to cut people with a knife," and then like I can just be extra pragmatic and just be like, "Bang,
you
you're
dead."
Okay.
With that Family Guy voice. I like to cut people with a knife.
I like to cut people with a knife.
That's so bad. That's so bad, Jeff.
Hi. Want some popsicles?
Got a whole freezer of them. Right in the
basement. PlayStation?
Hello, right. Governor. All right.
So, are we officially live?
Format me. We are live. Format me right now. Format that.
All right, format. So, first of all, I don't know if we're taking the Are we taking it off Super Chats first, or are we going with Platinum first? We're going with Platinum first.
Well, Super Chats, highest priority, bro. So we got the Super Chats. Aha. And then we have the Patreon. Oh! And then
Platinum.
We have the Discord. Oh! Unage power! And then we have the YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And that's order. Very good.
Yes. So the typical structure is we'll start off with the Platinum Patreon questions. We'll go to the regular Patreon questions. Then we will go to the Discord questions. And then at the end of the stream, we'll usually get in like 5 to 10 YouTube questions.
Sign it in blood.
You know, and in that time, and in that time, if we get any YouTube super chats, we will give them priority. However, we will finish the question we're currently on before we go on to the super chat. So it's not like we're gonna like cut off a question mid-answer.
All right.
Fire it off. So let's start. This comes from Aiden W. Do animals have types? If so, how do I type them?
All right. Should I start like drawing that penis cat while answering this question? You know what I'm saying? All right, Mr. Aiden. Well?
Yeah.
Oh, you're actually considering it. Let me see.
Yeah. I mean, no, don't do it, but
I won't. Okay. No, to answer the questions. Yes. Animals definitely have type, and I actually have a funny story to share about this in regards to my INFJ mentor, and Mr. Morial, and he had a dog, and he had this ISFJ dog. And he'd always be like, oh, here comes the social justice police walking in the house, you know, making sure everyone's okay, everyone's safe, you know, this ISFJ dog. And then they have this ENTP dog, and her name was Mishka. And Mishka was a fantastic Alaskan Wolf Husky, and she's an ENTP dog, let me tell you. Starter type, got the full interaction style going for starter. Kind of an intellectual-like dog, not like all ESFP-ish, not ENFP-ish, like kind of more social justice oriented, but doesn't really care much about their status, etc. And now everyone's like, oh, wait a minute, how can you tell if a dog cares about status and whatnot? You can, I promise. Like, it's actually possible to use the type grid to type animals. Like the cats I have in my life, like Chloe. I mean, she's an ISFJ cat. Chloe, the ISFJ cat. And I don't know, for some reason, like this audience thinks that you could type bonsai trees. Because we all remember that apparently a certain bonsai tree was an INFP. You remember that, Jab?
Yeah, the Slim Jim. Or as we like to call him, Jimmy Bolzosco.
Jimmy Bolzosco. Okay, yeah, fair enough. And then there's the other cat, who was Bijou, and he's an ESTP cat. And of course, these two cats have like severe conflict issues that are problematic. But yes, the answer is dogs do have type, and they have temperaments, and yeah, they do. I never thought that animals had a type, but apparently my mentor proved me wrong. They absolutely do have their own personalities, and so also do cats. Even though most cats I've encountered are SJs, or very SI oriented. There's a few SE cats out there, and those ones trigger me. So I like the SI cats best. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, he also asked, if so, how do I type them? And my response to that would be, you need to take a different approach when it comes to typing things which don't speak. So clearly somebody who, I mean, realistically, somebody who is a mute, and I mean this with all due respect, they're still going to have a personality type even though they can't talk. You need to take a similar approach with animals, just because they can't speak your language.
Is compare animals to like animals. That's it. Compare them, and eventually you'll be able to utilize the logic of the type grid to figure it out. So
right, because realistically, when it comes to an animal, you can tell if they're responding or initiating. You can tell if they're movement or control. You can't really tell if they're direct or informative. But if one that's direct is going to be far more direct.
So the sponge, does the sponge animal have a type? I have no idea. I've only ever typed dogs or cats, so I have no idea. Go figure that out, and I'm sure that'll be a huge contribution to humanity when you figure that out.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't think you're going to be able to type abstract versus concrete on a dog or animal, because you're really going to have to hear thought processes for that. But so that means you're going to have to type them off systematic versus interest and whatever.
Oh, did you guys see my really cool new painting right there in the background underneath the Black Lotus? It's right there. Isn't that awesome, guys? It's you can't see it, but it's actually a forest that's burning, and the white up here is like smoke going up in the sky, and it's nighttime, and it's in front of this really awesome expert intuition lake. And it's like my SE demon burning things to the ground so new life can come back. It's a really dope painting. So thank you, Raylan, for sending an amazing painting to be added to the collection. And there's a few other pieces of art that are going to be added to the collection very soon here for the studio. And I'm very excited about that as well.
Right. So, okay, let's go on to the next question.
Next question. I'm in.
Next question is from Mello, and he asks, are introverted deciders or extroverted deciders better with listening, or would that be a case of perception?
No, actually, so look at it this way. So TI and FI, they need to be listened to, but it's different with FI though. FI has got like a completely different approach with it, whereas TI is like really, really where TI needs to be listened to. Even like TI parent, TI hero, if you're not listening to TI parent, TI hero, they're just not going to even pay attention to you anymore or even really care. They need to be listened to even if you believe they're wrong. And if you don't do that, that function is going to feel like disrespected, and it's just going to turn into like a huge mess. So make sure you always listen to them. It's really, really important, right? So just keep that in mind.
That's when you get stupid zoned, right? When you don't listen to TI Parent or TI Hero.
Exactly. It's especially bad with TI Hero, though.
Mm-hmm. TE Nemesis. Oh, I'm worried about everyone else being stupid, and you don't want to listen to me. So that must mean you must be one of the stupid people.
Exactly.
Welcome to TI Hero.
welcome, good sir. Yes, welcome.
All right. Next question. How many questions are we giving Platinum? 2, right?
Yeah, 2.
And then we'll come back to them and give them another 2, right?
Yep.
All right. Which of the NT and NFs are best with money in a way that they are least likely to have financial challenges?
Ooh. Which of the NT and the NFs are the best with money and the least likely to have financial challenges? I would say that would be ENTJs are the best at handling money. And it's usually because statistically, and I'm not sure how accurate these are, they are the richest of all the types, statistically.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, it goes types, it's possible ENTPs could technically be the richest, but we just don't know because stats are skewed.
Right. Well, I think it's in terms of the stats, it's ENTJ, INTJ second, and I think it comes down that the responsibility with money comes down to TE. So wouldn't that be NTJs, NFPs?
NTP, say again.
So wouldn't that be NTJs, NFPs due to the responsibility of TE when it comes to dealing with money?
Yeah, I mean, TE users are traditionally better at handling money or any finances. I mean, you can look at an INFP. Like I've known some amazing INFP day traders out there. They're just phenomenal at it, right? So it just really depends.
Well, the point I wanted to make is, my opinion is ENTPs would be very polarizing. They'd either be doing very well with their money or very poorly with their mony.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Very well, very poor. And it's the same thing with ENFPs, although ENFPs are more prone to getting into debt than any of the intuitive types. So,
right. Okay. I think that answers that question.
We got a super chat.
Oh. What seduction styles do INFPs and INFJs use/receive?
All right, so INFJ uses the siren, INFP, and the other thing that they also do is the dandy. It's very common for INFJs. INFP, the natural lover, and they also do the star. Because NFPs are all about being the star. And the star and the dandy go together pretty well. And the siren and the natural also go together pretty well. But that's kind of typically how it would be. Both those types could go in that direction as well. So apparently my volume isn't good enough, Jab. I need to enunciate myself. So
maybe move the microphone closer to your mouth.
Yeah, I'll put it in my mouth. How about that?
Yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would. Yes, it's
my
big and blue, apparently. You know.
So you like big and blue things, huh?
Yep.
I do.
Especially if it's an Audi R8 Spider that goes really, really fast, like never not, right?
Yeah. All right, let's go on to the next question. Who are the funniest of all the types? Ooh.
Who are the funniest of all the types? Okay.
SE inferior and SE childs, I'd say.
Yeah, SE inferior. Not necessarily SE child. I would say it's SE hero.
Really?
SE inferior. Yeah, because actually ESFPs are pretty hilarious. But above all, definitely ESFP subconscious from the INTJ. Hands down is the most hilarious of all the types. It's funny, INTJs are often like asking me, hey, how do I develop my ESFP side? I tell an ENTP like, oh, hey, yeah, you want to learn self-discipline? Like, yeah, go pick up a martial art. But if I want to tell that to like ESFPs, it's like, okay, learn how to be a comedian. That's really that easy, so.
Right. Learn how to do pedophile voices from Family Guy. Hi, kids.
Hi.
You want some popsicles?
Hello, governor. Hello.
All right. Regular Patreon time. Is typing... Oh, this comes from Runic Knight, and he asks, is typing based on how people talk? I feel versus I think really a reliable way of typing people. Surely typing this way doesn't account for emulation. I, as an INTP, often say I don't feel like it, but perhaps this is just an inertia thing from growing up with an ENFJ mother and using words like feel as it gets a better response. Yeah, you're absolutely right. We always give the caveat that I feel doesn't always mean I feel, and I think doesn't always mean I think. There's plenty of circumstances where somebody makes an I feel statement and then they talk about a logical process. So clearly it's a TI statement. And there's clearly someone using I think and then they speak about an emotional process. So it's clearly an FI statement.
Yep. So take it this way, folks. How often do they say it? Like, how often do they say the statement for you to be able to identify cognitive axis, right? How often? What's the frequency with which they say it? Do they say it more than certain things and less than others? Then that is an indication of a cognitive function axis, right? You also have to understand the English language is extremely weak. So, for example, homophones, homonyms. Look at it this way from the perspective of the English language. The word want, right? I want. Well, the thing is that when someone says I want, okay, well, an NI user, they're saying they're really saying I intend. Okay, that's really what they're saying. But an SI user is saying like I need, I hope to experience, or I need to experience this. It's completely different. So like the word I want is very limited, and usually it's an NI statement, but sometimes the SI user could be speaking about certain experience that they're hoping to get for themselves. So again, the English language itself is a really terrible language, whereas you'd have better luck in languages like Spanish or even languages like Japanese, because there are specific words for specific things, and they don't have very many homonyms or homophones. Whatever language has the least amount of homonyms and homophones, but the most words of describing things, but the least homonyms and homophones, then at that point in time, you're going to have yourself to be able to have the highest possible accuracy for typing based off of linguistics. But most people don't really understand that. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Next question. Are you familiar with Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences theory? And if so, do you think particular types of intelligence is corresponded to particular Jungian types?
Not necessarily, because any type can be intelligent. Like, because for example, take an ISFP. It takes a lot of genius, for example, in some capacity to make paintings like these, right? Not every ISFP can make paintings like that, right? And that's why like someone's definition of intelligence or their definition of genius, it's really just one thing: subjective AF. Like seriously, it's super subjective. So when people start telling me, like, and my TE critic just gets super triggered about this, it's like, okay, hey guys, I'm going to tell you that, hi, I'm an INTJ, and I literally think the IQ test is the best way to measure somebody's intelligence. And I'm just like, no, that's not actually at all. It's terrible.
Yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, Einstein only scored a 163, and then some chess players who only play chess in their life are like 190 plus. It's like,
I
what?
scored 108, believe it or not, when I took the IQ test. So idiot confirmed, right? I don't know.
I think I took an online one that was semi-legit, and I scored like 145 when I was 15.
Fair enough. I'm not that cool.
Yeah, but I think those online ones are a bit skewed, but whatever. I'm probably at least... Fuck it, I'm not bragging about my intelligence on the stream. Let's go to the next question. What are the top 5 jobs for ESTJs, and are there any that involve economics, degree like a master's?
ESTJ top 5 jobs?
That involve economics.
That involved economics?
No. Top 5, and are there any that involve economics? Especially with a degree like a master's.
Project management, IT sales, specifically SLED-based sales. SLED means state, local, and education. It's a particular sales segment. So if you're part of a sales organization, you'd actually know what that means. But yeah, SLED, IT sales for SLED. It's because ESTJs, they're very old school, very by the book, especially when it comes to a sales process. So they jive really well with state, local, and education because of how stuffy those organizations are, and the ESTJs like literally fit right in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, because there's no one more stuffy than an ESTJ, let's be honest.
My goodness.
So, hey, I'm not wrong when I say that.
SE Demon, like, just like hitting
I know,
the SI
right?
of the ESTJ.
I know, right? Yeah.
Like, oh, you're stuffy, Mr. ESTJ.
Yeah. So yeah, project management, IT sales. They're also very good at secretarial work, anything secretarial, and also politics. Being a policeman is also really important. They're also really great firemen, and they would do really well as a Marine.
A Marine?
Yeah. Or soldier that is just somebody who takes orders, basically.
Right. But wouldn't ESTJs do more well as an officer in the military?
In some cases, from a middle management point of view, yes.
Yeah, like lower level, like lieutenant or captain or something, up to major.
Yeah. Oh, look, A's super chat.
Yeah, I saw it. Kay Williams asks, any examples of a healthy INFP woman in popular culture and an unhealthy one for comparison? Also, my INTJ mother forced us to take IQ tests, lol. TE parent, lol.
INFP in pop culture. I'm going to have to think on this for a second. So, like, the INFP male in pop culture is definitely Keanu Reeves, without a doubt.
Yeah. Would you say he's
John
particularly healthy?
Pretty soon. Yeah, absolutely. Keanu Reeves is dope. Dope. Like, the man is so dope. Like, come on. Like, absolutely dope. But in terms of INFP feel, I'm trying to think. Actually, there's we learned about Marcia, who is PewDiePie's soon-to-be wife. So,
I mean, she seemed pretty nice, but then again,
yeah.
We only see what we see on camera.
Yeah. Marcia. Who else? Trying to think.
Who's an unhealthy one?
Do you know of any, Jab? Do you pay attention? Because I don't really.
I would say an unhealthy one is I mean, there's one sign that an INFP is unhealthy that I've spotted, and that's when they're incredibly messy and they've given up on all hope on order.
Yeah,
and like
the maximum hoarding person. They hoard all the things.
And then it's like you're looking for something which they used a week ago, and you literally find it at the bottom of a pile of junk. Like, that's how much hoarding they do.
Yeah.
But hard to see any people in popular culture who do that, because that part of their lives you don't really see we're sheltered from.
Yeah.
Yeah, off the top of my head,
a healthy INFP is one who's able to have the ultimate sympathy, which is what Keanu Reeves has. He'll be remembered for his sympathy.
Off the top of my head, I could not tell you an INFP in popular culture who's unhealthy, but we do have some typical things like an INFP who's unhealthy, extremely messy, massive hoarder, extremely selfish about their own feelings. Anybody who doesn't bow before them is immediately a terrible person.
Oh, Octomom.
Oh, Octomom's an INFP?
I don't know if she's an INFP or not. She kind of seems more ESTJ to me, to be honest.
Right. But yeah, those are some examples of an unhealthy INFP. especially the selfishness part. You can usually see them through the selfishness.
Right. Next question.
All right, next question. Chase, in what ways do you use social engineering in real life, e.g. applying social engineering at work or in your daily life, and how has it helped you?
Being that I'm in sales, I use it every day for my day job. Absolutely. I've also used social engineering for basic human interaction in public. Like I social engineered somebody who was at the check stand at the local Whole Foods, for example. I also social engineer my family all the time. It's the only way I'm able to have a consistent relationship with them because 2 of them are SFJs and they're everywhere. And I'm the only pragmatic in the family, so I have to social engineer in order to survive my own family on a regular basis. So it's the only way to get through it. And that's just one example, right? So yeah, that's how I use social engineering in my daily life.
Fair enough. We are discussing about ENTP, INTJ secondary bias last night, and we think that secondary bias is used to prevent us from going into our superego. What do you think?
Say that again.
So Helen said that her and some people were discussing about INTJ and ENTP secondary bias.
Yeah.
And they have a theory that the secondary bias is used to prevent us from going into superego. What's your opinion?
It can be. I mean, but really, the one thing that really has to prevent us from going into our superego is that, SI inferior needs to be as comfortable at all times and not be forcibly taken out of its comfort zone. SE inferior just needs to not be abandoned. Like abandonment is a serious issue. It's a loyalty thing. They need that loyalty because abandoning them, they just can't handle it. And I mean, nor should they. It's terrible, So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. How do I approach breaking up with an ISTJ to make it as less painful as possible for her?
You don't do that. You want the ISTJ to feel as much pain as possible, actually. Make it hurt.
Okay.
The reason why is because of SI hero. It won't mean as much, basically, without that. So SI hero exists to take the hits, but they're not going to learn any lessons unless you actually deal some good hits. So deal good hits. And yes, Chaco, yes, I do. Luna Lovegood is an INFP. Thank you very much for that pop culture reference. Thank you, Chaco.
Yeah.
That
but
is great.
But is she really a healthy INFP? She seems a little bit out of it.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, what INFP doesn't seem out of it? Jab. Which one? Trust me.
Okay, so we actually got a super chat from April Harter. I don't see a question, but if I scroll up, she says, I just got introduced to your channel this week. I recently discovered I was an ENTJ. I had to stop working with an ENFP. I need this. So much goodness. Thank you for your $25, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. So yeah, so this person actually has to make it as painful as possible. The ISTJ. Just to make the breakup as painful.
They won't learn. Yeah. So
or they might not even.
So break it off. Break it off abruptly. You don't want to try to make it as if you over comfort the ISTJ, they're not going to learn anything, and they're just going to be forever attached to you. You have to have that really hard, forceful, clean break. Otherwise, it's just going to be super unhealthy for them.
Right. Or else they're not even going to feel like the relationship's over. And they might think they're still dating you, even though you've moved on, and then all of a sudden you're the jerk asshole who's cheating.
It's not. Like, okay, so basic decaf, it is not about ISTJ hate. The thing is about ISTJs is SI hero becomes so loyal to somebody when they're in a relationship with, they can't let go. So for their own sake, for the sake of their own health, the breakup has to be as nasty as possible, basically, in order for them to get to a point where they can't be loyal to that person anymore. The point is whoever is breaking up with the ISTJ, don't hold back. It's that simple. Don't hold back.
Right. Yeah, it's hard because this guy's type was set to as an INTJ, so how is SE Inferior going to beat the crap out of a SI hero?
Yep.
So, all right, let's go on to the next question. What's the best way for an ENTJ to deal with a breakup? Another breakup question. Often I find myself taking breakups really hard no matter how long we dated. I find like the disagreements are usually based on small moral details that are really important for a couple to grow. Though they seem small, letting me know about your day or listening to me when I want to teach you something and vice versa. I often find it hard to let go when it's not working. I always feel like it's my fault. I never get attached mentally, so I don't have an issue staying in a toxic relationship, but I do feel disrespected because I would never ask anyone to do anything I wouldn't be willing to do for them. But knowing that's how I am makes me want to not take dating seriously and casually sleep around.
So again, it's the same approach with ISTJs, with the ESTJs. The breakup needs to be basically as painful as possible to break them of that loyalty complex. They need to let go of being loyal to that person. They also need to have the self-discipline to move on and to find someone that actually wants them, someone that actually desires them, someone who thinks highly of them. They just have to have that. And all ESTJs have to do, because ESTJs kind of have a free pass, all you have to do is just literally go to the gym, esteem yourself, and you're good to go. Self-improvement, develop your core interpersonal philosophy, and that STP out there that's waiting for you will basically find you and initiate with you, and you're good to go. You don't have to worry about it. It's just about patience and self-discipline at the end of the day, and that's how you get through it.
Did you say STP? Because this guy said he's an ENTJ.
I was answering it from an ESTJ point of view.
Okay. But this guy said he's an ENTJ.
Okay, well, in the context of an ENTJ, the problem is that usually after breakup, they just end up having tons of meaningless sex over and over and over again, as if they don't care and they hate the world, which is not a healthy behavior. So instead, they need to be focused on doing the good thing. Like what I usually tell ENJs when they have breakups and whatnot is that they need to host some events for their friends, basically, and then through friends, through referrals from their friends, from their close friends. They can start relationships through friend referrals. Otherwise, if they just go out to the bar, they're just going to end themselves up having meaningless sex over and over and over again, and they're not going to get anywhere and actually cause themselves a lot of personal self-damage. That SE child needs human interaction, consistent human interaction, but the best way to do that is if they become a host for an event or a party or just something in general, and then their friends will bring more friends, etc. That could bring them additional relationships, business opportunities. Who knows? But they just need to surround themselves with as many people as possible and be the one driving that experience for those people in order for them to receive potentially new relationships or opportunities as a result. That's basically the healthiest thing an ENJ can do.
All right. Let's go on to the next question then. This question comes from Kate, and she asks, do people often end up with their third highest compatibility because we are less mature? They need someone to take care of their inferior function, and the third highest is more equipped to do so? And once they mature, they don't need as much support for their inferior functions, which causes them to seek out a more compatible match?
Yes. Yes. Answer to that question is yes.
Okay. Next question then. Is typing based on how people talk? Oh, we already answered this.
We already did that.
What advice can you give my ISFJ male friend on dating and meeting women?
Dating and meeting women? Okay, so if you're an ISFJ male, where do you want to meet? What do you want to meet? You want to meet ESFP female. Where are ESFP females located? Well, anywhere that dance happens, plays. Here's a big one. The casino. I don't know how many times I keep spotting ESFP women at the casino. That's all they do. They just go to the casino over and over and over and over and over. The ISFJ male. The casino?
Are they gambling? Or?
They're playing slots. Woo! Constantly playing slots. These people are slot mongers. They're like those zombies pressing the button over and over and over again on the slot machine, and all the TI parents walking by are getting so triggered by TE child thinking that they're going to get lucky or something. You know what I mean? Like,
hey guys, if you got some coins to put into a slot machine, CS Jabba's coin operated. Just thought I'd remind you.
Yeah, just thought. Yeah, thank you, Jab, for that lovely commercial there. Harry, lovely commercial. So with that being said, basically, ISFJ male, you got to go where the ESFP females are, and the only way you're going to do that is if you get out of your shell. Go to the casino. If you don't know what to do at the casino, learn poker, learn blackjack. All right, learn roulette. Right, and
the only one I would do is poker because that's like somewhat skill based and you're playing against other people.
Well, blackjack is a little bit skilled too, to be honest.
Yeah, but once you get too skilled, then they just call you a card counter and kick you out.
True. All right, next question.
All right, next question. What should I read by John Beebe? None of his books are listed on your website from what I could tell.
Energies and Patterns of Psychological Type by John Beebe.
There we go. We should probably add some John Beebe books to our website, shouldn't we?
Yeah, let's add that as a task.
I'll quickly DM you. All right, next question. How would depression or other emotional turmoil present itself in people with FI demon or FI trickster? More specifically, would it be dramatically different from those with higher FI? Would it be more FE based?
So TP depression is usually comes down to lack of joy, and it's lack of joy as a result of them not able to be who they are. I cannot be who I am. This construct or this society, I cannot be who I am, and then it really comes and it manifests out, and it creates a lack of joy, basically, which leads to depression in TPs. This is very common amongst TI heroes and TI parents for the FI tricksters and demons out there. That's how it manifests.
Right.
How to solve that problem? They need to have their thinking respected, and they need to be listened to, especially by their superiors. If they are not listened to by their superiors, well, then they're like, well, why bother? And then they just move on, or they shut down, or they just check out and don't care.
Okay. All right. Next question. What can ENFJs do to de-stress?
What can ENFJs do to de-stress?
Yeah.
Well, it's usually they're giving too much. ENFJs... like imagine you're an event coordinator as an ENFJ or a secretary, and you're just doing what? So much, and you just give. And then all of a sudden you just shut down. You have to disappear for a while, almost as if you're an introvert. And then you just have to give to yourself. And if no one, and if you can't give to yourself, someone else has to be near you to give to you. It's like, okay, well now it's my turn. I've given so much to everybody else. It's my turn to give. And that's why oftentimes I watch, ENFJs binge watch television, right? They binge watch Netflix. It's just constant binging. But yeah, that's really it. Binging is how ENFJs de-stress.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's another way that they can de-stress.
Same with food. That's why ENFJ women are statistically the most overweight of all of the female types. So,
wow,
is due to their binging.
I was going to say, I do have another answer that's not necessarily PG related. Someone's mentioned it in the chat, but yeah. Some quality time with their significant other.
Yep, quality time. That is very PG.
Oh, I meant something less PG. I'm just being euphemistic right now.
Never not be euphemistic.
All right, next question. Building off the question about functions associated with language. So this is a different person asking this question. What are some common phrases or words associated with functions other than NI and SI, like you already mentioned?
Could you ask that question again?
So what they're asking for is some common buzzwords which are used to determine the cognitive function. So, like, yeah, I think
we're not talking about that till season 18, so I'm not answering that question.
Oh, well, the answer to the question is it's coming out in season 18. Yep. We got a super chat. Could an SI demon generally be healthier than an SI user if they spent time around high SI users and had the exact same health/lifestyle choices because of less SI-related mental stress in low SI?
Short answer, yes. Long answer, no. So the reason why is because oftentimes SI heroes have their heads in the sand, and because they have their heads in the sand, they're really ignorant and don't actually know proper health habits or proper lifestyle. I would recommend that they be around SI inferiors and SI child because they have a higher struggle with health, and as a result of that higher struggle, they have actually learned to develop healthier habits than an SI hero would. And that's how I would answer that question in that regard.
Okay. Okay, so that's all the Patreon, that's all the super chats. We're going to the Discord questions now. Okay. And the question is, how do INFPs prevent the logical fallacy of begging the question?
How do INFPs? Well, they do that through verification, and that because they can't verify, they need to ask a TI user to help verify. They really struggle doing that. Another logical fallacy that they struggle with is the appeal to authority. Because again, INFPs love burying their heads in the sand, and they can become very intellectually lazy. And it's very hard for them to admit that they're intellectually lazy and can bury their heads in the sand. Because if they're not reading, they're not able to get verification. This is why to any INFP, you need to be reading, and you need to be reading non-fiction in order to grow. If you're only reading fiction, I'm sorry, #worthless. Stop wasting.
Yeah, manga doesn't count. Manga doesn't count.
You just literally triggered all of the weebs by saying manga. They're like, manga, not manga. And then all of a sudden I get to say, unagi power. You know what I'm saying?
All right, I'm going to start calling it mango then, just to piss them off. I mean, I deliberately trolled them on the last typing stream where I was like, Japanese cartoons and Disney anime. They probably think I'm literally the worst person in the world right now.
Never not the worst person in the world. I do it all the time.
We know that kids get their type from their quadra. So how do kids get their quadra?
Watch season 17, episode 1 to learn where the quadra comes from. The source of the quadra. That's how I'm going to answer that question.
Okay. All right, next question. A plethora of me asks, as an ESFP, I recognize my shadow function a lot, especially under stress, and I was wondering about my subconscious and how healthy that can be for me to counter my shadow. I believe I felt a big aha moment when I found my passions and I believe to be my calling, and I'm thinking of using my superego to really amp that. Now for the question, I feel split knowing that I can transition from types between my 4 functions. I think she means 4 sides. But how would I know that my ESFP primary function is healthy? Or even how would I know I am in my element because of switching so much in my quadra? Are you happy? Do you feel comfortable?
Yeah, it's that simple. Are you happy or are you mature? That's another way of doing it. Like, you really have to understand it's all about maturity versus happiness. Happiness comes as a result of subconscious development. Maturity comes as a result of unconscious development. You need to ask third parties because you have TE child, you don't have TI, and you don't understand, from a social point of view, how people could be viewing you. You understand how you come off physically from like an SE point of view, but you don't have that from an FE point of view. So you need to have TI users around you. So you ask them like, hey, what do you think about me? And let them be completely honest with you and just take their criticisms. That's really the only way.
Right.
Criticism.
Right. There was actually a second part of that question. How can I optimize and make my ESFP function healthy? And how, in terms of dating,
applies to that as well.
Yeah. How do I know if an ISFJ partner is good for me if I'm so pessimistic about it, even though it's a perfect match for me? Like,
pessimistic partner?
I think you just need to be confident in yourself and realize that, you have SE hero and that you can give your partner a good experience. And if you are giving your partner a good experience, you will also, by proxy, be happy in doing so, and you will feel fulfilled. And I think if you feel fulfilled in your relationship, that's how you can know specifically if your partner is right for you. And you won't need to feel pessimistic if you feel fulfilled. And I think that answers that question. Oh, we got another super chat. If somebody knows for sure he or she is an IXXP, how can it be certain if it is TI hero or FI hero, especially if it sees itself in both?
All right, so let's look at the difference between TI hero and FI hero. Both of these are thinking, but this is based on true, false. Whereas FI hero is about good, bad. It's funny, FI heroes often think like, well, this is true, this is false. No, it's not. It's actually about what they believe. It's actually opinion. And how they feel is based on their opinion. Opinion. It's not actual facts. Whereas if this is Boolean, or Boolean, so this is, if this, ... then this, ... Completely different way of thinking, right? So understand that is different. It's not the same. Completely not the same. So belief versus opinion. Belief and opinion, good or bad, is FI hero. TI hero is this is true, this is false, because I can prove this. FI hero is not about proof, it's about opinion. They think they can prove things by having collections of other people's opinions. Whereas a TI user doesn't give a damn about other people's opinions at all. It only cares about what's actually factually true or false.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to add to that, Jab?
I don't think I need to be honest.
All right, cool. What's next?
All right, let's try and blitz through a few of these questions because I want to get to at least April before the stream ends. We're currently on March 11th, so if we can get another 20 days worth of questions, we'll only be a month behind, and that's as far behind as I want to be.
Unless people want to like treat us like the coin-operated machine we are and give us more super chats, Jab.
Yeah, please.
Just saying.
My coin slot is nice and lubricated.
Excellent. You got 5W30 tonight, folks.
WD30 or whatever it's called.
WD40.
Anyway,
banana juice.
Whatever.
Fish oil.
What about the WD50 I invented for your squeaky chair back in the day?
Fantastic job. The color was enlightening.
Right. Yeah. All right. How do I improve my SI as an ENTP?
How do I improve my SI? Through self-discipline.
Martial arts.
Take
up some Jeet Kune Do.
Yep.
Is that the one you recommend? Jeet Kune Do?
Yep. Jeet Kune Do. JKD.
All right. I mean, I think that answers that question.
Good. Next.
Do you have any insights as to how psychedelics can affect any individual regarding the four sides of the mind?
Psychedelics are traditionally stimulants, therefore it would put people into their subconscious side of their mind, and in some cases can help them access expert intuition if they're an SP type, typically as to how a certain YouTuber has to take a bong hit all the time and pretend to be an ENTP so he can access any demon as a result. Next question.
Oh, goodness. All right. Hi, CSJ. Formalities. Apparently, there's a theory. Antidepressants are prescribed for anxiety-based.
Ask that again, Jab. It AFK'd me.
Oh, okay. So this person's saying that in typology is a theory that antidepressants put us into our shadow types, but that begs the questions: when we develop depressive and/or anxiety conditions, as some antidepressants are prescribed for anxiety-based conditions such as OCD. These illnesses greatly affect our cognitive and behavioral health. It doesn't seem likely that we would stain our ego types when in these gripes, or when in their grips. How and why is it the relief of said illness through antidepressants result in shadow typing? So what this person's trying to say is, if antidepressants push us into our shadow, how do antidepressants solve the anxiety conditions of which they're prescribed for if we're in our shadow? If they push us into our shadow? Do they actually reverse putting us into our shadow? Do they push us back into our ego once we're pushed into our shadow because of an anxiety or depressive condition?
Well, it also changes our brain chemistry, Jab. So you have to think to yourself, okay, hold on, is this permanent? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, or semi-permanent. There's a lot of different aspects to it that people need to realize.
So would you argue that it just changes the brain chemistry and makes using the shadow less depressive based on that chemistry?
Yep.
Fair enough. Let's go to the next question.
We have a super chat.
Yes, the super chat from Zekistential. If INFJs are the tip of the spear, then which type would be the base of the spear? ENFPs?
Nope. ENTPs, actually.
Close enough.
ENTPs are the base of the spear. If the tip of the spear is the INFJ, the base of the spear is the ENTP. The reason why is as shown throughout history. So, for example, let's write out a bunch of ENTPs. Socrates. John the Baptist. Socrates, John the Baptist, Benjamin Franklin.
Was Hippocrates an INTJ or an INTP?
I don't know about that.
I think he might be an INTJ because he seemed more...
Plato.
I mean, he revolutionized surgeries and whatnot, so that would tell me he's more SE.
Right.
And he didn't care about ethics because ethically it was bad to do such medical experiments, which he was cutting people open, didn't give a shit. Sounds like FE trickster.
Right. Sam Adams, Socrates, John the Baptist. You could also take this from a point of view of fiction. You have Nagato. You have Rorschach. You have, let's see here, Tony Stark.
Tony Stark.
Yeah.
What about Bran Stark?
So anyway, the point is that throughout history and even in fiction, the ENTP starts the process for change. They are the base of the spear, and the INFJ finishes it. And you can see this through like Socrates, he's an ENTP, and then the INFJ Plato finishes Socrates' work. Same thing with John the Baptist, who started Christianity, also known as the Way in those days, and then Jesus finished it out, for example. So the tip of the spear is the INFJ, the ENTP is the base of the spear.
Right, perfect.
We've seen this archetype over and over and over throughout history. Anytime anything big or major happens, the ENTP is the one who starts the process. The INFJ is the one who finishes the process. The reason why is actually a concept that comes from socionics. Gotta love socionics, right? This is actually one area where socionics is actually correct.
Yeah, they get like two things right.
Yep, good old socionics. And look it up, folks. It is the pedagogue relationship, and that is held by the INFJ and the ENTP. Sign it in blood, folks. Sign it in blood. So there you go.
Perfect. Next question. Hi, CS Joseph, an ENFP here. Recently, I was put into a situation where I was falsely accused. Ooh. Had no little evidence to back me up. Although I know I was innocent, it resulted me in getting severely punished, and it taught me a valuable lesson. It made me realize that a result of FI and NE being shit all over in society, everyone thinks that the only way you can determine if someone is right or wrong is if you have physical, concrete proof of it. I know in my heart I didn't deserve what happened to me, so I don't think concrete evidence can ever be the only thing to determine what makes a thing right or wrong. Imagine how many other people in the world right now are falsely accused due to a lack of physical evidence backing them up. Another thing that's made me sure in my resolve is an event that happened to me the other day. I met a homeless guy. He asked me politely if I could give him money. I gave him some. He thanked me. We had a brief conversation. He told me about his life, how he was stolen from birth and he's going to court, accused of a crime he didn't commit. I saw that there was no deceit in his eyes. He was a pure heart and he was telling me the truth. I then comforted him and wished him well. So what do you think? Do you think if a person is honest and pure of heart, you can tell just by looking at them, into their eyes, their voice, the way they speak? Can they just be another way to come to justice instead of relying solely on facts?
No. You can't just look in their eyes. No, because ENTPs exist. Yeah, it's very easy to lie. No. And it's because ENPs exist, the answer to that is no. Here's what you do to solve that problem, Mr. ENFP. Very, very simple. You have to follow the fifth law of power. You follow the fifth law of power, You'll be fine in those situations you're being accused. And it goes like this. So much depends. So much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life. This is a TE childism. If TE child has a good reputation, TE child is basically invincible. And it doesn't matter what any accusation anyone puts on you, you're pretty good. I mean, take this like from some of my recent dealings in business or relationships or anything like that. People are constantly criticizing me and telling me that I'm a piece of crap or I'm untrustworthy or I'm a liar, etc. None of that matters. Why? Because of FE child. I do so much stuff for this community and for people I don't even know for free, and I offer them free help all the time, that I have the reputation of being somebody who heals and helps without asking anything in return, which means when people like naysayers or whatever, and they try to destroy my reputation or warn a whole bunch of people that I'm a bad guy, you know, blah, 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 no one listens to them. No one cares. Like literally no one cares because I'm so giving. It's funny how these same people often say that, oh, Chase is a narcissist. And it's like, okay, am I really a narcissist? Am I really that much of a narcissist? But like, hold on, I'm actually really giving, and I'm very giving with FE child on a regular basis. So is it really true that I'm a narcissist? The answer to that is no. No, it's not. They just think it is because I was not willing to allow them to behave selfishly around me in those particular situations, and then they accuse me of being a narcissist because I wasn't fulfilling the needs of their whims, basically. So.
All right, super chat $2. Chase Jab, are you examples of mature, healthy type? Well, I can answer for myself, and the answer is clearly no. I have very good access to the different sides of my mind, but I'm not at a point in my life where I feel like.
Yeah, the answer to that, from my point of view, is no, because I mean, looking from an ego and then an unconscious and then a super ego point of view, I really need to spend more time developing my subconscious. And at that point in time, then I could say I'm a little bit more integrated than I actually am. I know where my weaknesses lie, and my weaknesses lie in lack of subconscious development. I need to develop that more. So,
right. I mean, I think I'm fairly well developed with regards to the subconscious and the shadow. I just feel like there are some goals in my life which I still need to achieve before I could consider myself a mature and healthy adult.
Yeah, fair enough. If we're going to be using the King, Warrior, Magician, Lover model to determine maturity, or the content laid out in playlist seasons 4, 6, and 13, then that's a completely different discussion. So
right. Yeah, with respect to that, I don't think I'm very mature in that sense, but in terms of cognitive function development and ability to utilize different sides of my mind, I'd say I'm fairly well integrated.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. I'm an INFJ who thinks Mark Zuckerberg is autistic, but we know that he's an INTJ who are often labeled so. What are your thoughts, Chase and Jab?
I think labels of autism are dumb and need to be verified consistently, because most of those people who are labeled autistic are not actually autistic, and it's just society
they're just
doesn't
NTs.
know what to do with NTs. Yeah.
Right. It's usually INTJs and NTPs who are labeled autistic. ENTPs because they seem a little bit introverted because of SI inferior. Whereas ENTJs can kind of get past it because of SE child. But I mean, I, for the most part, think that like majority of autism cases are absolute horse crap.
Yep.
Like, it's just giving somebody a style of learning in school which their cognitive functions don't correlate to, and then like wondering why this cookie cutter education system isn't working for some people. And it's like, that isn't necessarily the person's fault. That's your fault for assuming that your method of education works on everyone equally. And just because somebody
which is so arrogant of affiliative, SJs for having, you know what I mean? Like it's really, really frustrating.
I reset the widget, by the way. But yeah, I mean, it's actually very hilarious how these affiliative types who are supposed to be focused on doing what's right are going to literally hurt children on the perception that they just don't correlate or respond positively to the predetermined course that they came up with.
Wow. I mean, in before people start saying we're anti-vaxxers.
Well,
it's the same line of thinking. It is the same line of thinking, though. No, think
Right.
about it. Like, so an anti-vaxxer, right? An anti-vaxxer or a vaxxer, we'll just say a vaxxer is the same kind of person who is okay with telling people they're autistic or they're ADD or
Right.
ADHD because they put way too much stock in people who are official or considered to be, you know, experts, as CNN would claim, you know, or people who are like, this is classic TE critic that I'm going off here right there, or their credentials or whatever. Who cares? I don't care. Experts are fools, okay?
Right.
Experts are fools, and that's not actually accurate. So, like, people, you have to understand, like, maybe you should just verify your own beliefs instead of letting the so-called experts tell you how to live your life. That includes people who are preaching from the pulpit. Like, seriously, guys, think for yourself for once.
Well, I mean, when it comes to ADD and ADHD, I find that to be an issue with toxic feminism. That being the feminism which says that being a male or a male child is something wrong, and then they put little boys on drugs to make them conform to feminine standards of behavior. It's like, all you need to do is enroll that child in a sport and let him get that energy out. That's all you need to do. Give in his lunch breaks, let him go kick a soccer ball or throw a football or something. Let him run around in the yard. That's all you need to do to let that energy out. You sit him at a desk all day. Of course, he's going to behave like that. It's a little boy child.
Yep, it's what is known as being set up for failure, which is constant for NTs in this society. People being set up for failure, and then the NTs who adapt. Then those NTs tell the other NTs that there's something wrong with them because they jump on the bandwagon. When reality is that's not the case.
It's not even that difficult. All you need to do is enroll your child in a physical activity like a sport. And the best part about that is we have such a problem with obesity in our society that's actually beneficial for their physical health. They'll be healthy. They won't be, they won't be that person that's, spilling over into 2 seats on the airplane.
Yep.
They won't be that person who's dying at 40 and then leaving their children without a father or a mother. Society just pisses me off.
The thing is, though, is that ADHD kid, Yuri, it's like, oh, do I really want to calm an ESFP child? No, because the reason why they're calm is because they go in their behind-the-scenes mode or their ISFJ unconscious. That's not fair. That's wrong. How about we understand people instead of drugging them?
Right. I would agree. It's literally child abuse. If you are putting someone on drugs just because they don't conform to your feminine standards of behavior,
or conform to your SJ standards of society, thank you.
Right. The solution is so simple, though. Just let them run around in the yard every now and then.
Exactly.
Tire them out so that they have to sit down at the desk.
Yeah. And then, 15-minute recess is perfect. 15-minute recess is legally allowed. That's enough.
All you have to do is tire them out, and then when they're physically, relaxing and trying to rejuvenate their energy so that they can do it again, make it a positive experience for them so that they want to learn. And the thing is, if you make your children want to learn, they will learn.
Yep.
The voice of Jab gives me the impression that he's chubby. Wow.
Nice. Next question.
Wow. All right, next question. In a golden pair, is one type significantly rarer than the other? If so, what are the implications?
It can happen. So let's look at INFJ, ENFP. INFJ males are rarer for males. ENFP, let's see here. ENFP females are rare. So, for example, whereas ENTP females are more common than ENTP males are more rare. INTJ males are more common than the INTJ females, for example. So yes, there can be a bit of a disparity there, which makes it harder to find golden pairs amongst intuitives, especially amongst ENPs and INJs. It's especially difficult for those types to find golden pairs, but a lot easier for the others.
I would say the even harder one is for ENTJ females and INTP.
Yes, that's even harder.
Males.
Especially since there's a lot of societal crap that gets in the way of that relationship.
Right. Because, the societal culture makes ENTJ women not want their golden pair partner, the INTP. And at the same time, INTPs are like mistreated by society on the kind of things we were explaining about before, which causes them to be less desirable to ENTJ women.
Yep. Good luck finding that golden pair. Good luck.
Good luck.
Best way to do it is for the INTP male to not look like the societal strongman caricature of an INTP male and being that fat kid in the mother's basement playing video games 24/7. What the INTP male needs to do is get a 6-pack and break the mold. Then they'll get their golden pair. I guarantee you.
Right. If they're going to play World of Warcraft, they should be playing it from an exercise bike. I'll tell you that much.
Exactly.
And the exercise bike should have a generator hooked up to it so that the computer doesn't run if they're not pedaling.
Amen.
I swear that invention would literally solve obesity in like 5 years.
As long as it's out in the sun too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, put a solar panel on it as well so that it has to be out in the sun to work. All right, next question. Oh, wow. Rami asks, which types are likely to fantasize about being sexually abused? I think that's more of a nurture thing.
The answer to that is technically SI child types, INPs. And sometimes SI heroes. So, Yep. SI optimistic.
All right. Can you explain what happens to your mind when you're entering into depression? Do you go into your shadow side, long-term or momentarily? Or do you stay in the ego, but it becomes unhappy/stuck ego? If depression puts you in your shadow mode already, then how can you say antidepressants put you into your shadow? If you stop taking them, do you go back into your ego or stay in your shadow? Sorry, this is confusing.
Depression can put you into your shadow, but remember, it's your ego. So looking at it this way. So there's some bleed effect here that's being shared. And then depression would put you into your shadow more so. And then it can also bleed in certain other directions, given how bad the depression can get. So the antidepressant basically would move you kind of back and forth because there's a lot of bleed there. So it's really difficult to actually figure out specifically where they are, but it's not binary. Just understand that, guys. Cognitive transition is not binary. They're not binary states. They're more bleed effect, more gray area than you realize. So.
Right. Okay. I mean, that answers that question, I'm pretty sure. Next question. Do ENFPs get violent when they are drunk? I have a friend who I think is an ENFP, and every time she drinks, she gets easily pissed and kind of raggy. I thought that's maybe... SED. Wait, is that raggy or ragey without an E?
Ragey.
Okay, because raggy would be very disrespectful, sir.
I don't often know of ENFPs getting violent when they're drunk. Now, if they're super, super mega drunk, when they're in their SE demon, then sure they can.
Right.
If it's an SE demon thing, which is usually because they are uncomfortable, yeah, they can get pretty ragey. But outside of that, generally not.
Ooh. Which interaction styles make the best commentators?
Best interaction styles?
I would say that depends on whether you're commentating on something that someone can see.
Question. It's too broad of a question to answer.
I think I could answer that. I would say that depends on. I would say that depends on whether it's you can visually see what's going on or if it's over the radio. If you can't see what's going on, you need someone's direct to spell out everything that's going on. But I think if it's like if you're watching something and you can like visually see it on the TV and you've got some commentary going on in the background, I would say someone who's a bit more informative, who could like get into your imagination and allow you to get into the story a bit more would be better. But beyond that, maybe somebody who's someone who's abstract and informative for if you can see it, and if it's over the radio, I'd say someone who's more direct and concrete.
Right.
Because somebody who's informative, if it's over the radio, you're not going to know what the hell's going on.
Exactly.
All right, let's go to the next question. Any quick tips for INTP, ISFJ couple communication? Uh-oh.
What? INTP what?
ISFJ couple communication.
I have a tip. I bet you can figure out what that tip is. It involves a certain machine.
Is it actually a machine, or is it just a piece of equipment?
It's an actual piece of equipment. I'm drawing it on the stream right now.
Which stores garbage, right?
Does it store garbage? I'm sure we can figure out what this is.
I hope it's not a trash compactor, because that would be a little bit too illegal.
It's a forklift.
Okay.
Yep, it's a forklift. That every male out there needs to have a forklift license, just so you know. And this forklift can place the ISFJ or the INTP directly where they belong, and that is in the dumpster. So. Yep. Forklift. Yeah, don't even bother having this kind of relationship. This relationship is, and I quote, cancer.
Goodness gracious me.
Yeah, don't even bother. Why is that? Well, let's look at that for a second. Let's actually pay attention here. Let's actually discuss why this relationship is cancer. Just because Muriel Uribe said why. Why? I don't believe you. To e-critic is like, oh, that's just a nice little thing that you got there. All right, whatever. Okay, so let's look at this. TINE SIFE. Okay, and then we have SIFE TINE. Then we have ISFJ. And we have INTP at the top. Okay, so now SI likes to be on the bottom in the bedroom because it likes to receive the experience for the most part. It's all about receiving sensation, right? Oh, but I also want to be on the bottom too in the bedroom because I like receiving, and I want to make you feel better, but I don't feel, right? Feel better. But no, I want to make you better. No, I want to make you feel better. And I am smart. So you have to listen to me. No, I am smarter. So you have to listen to me. Well, no. I don't want to do that. No. And I want to give you choices. Give you choices. So what do you want to do? What do you want to do? No, I want to give you choices instead. Oh, yeah. So you better make the choice. No, you better make the choice. You better make the choice. Well, I'm smarter than you. No, I'm smarter than you. Why do you always have to be on top? Why can't I be on top? Why do you always have to be on bottom? Why can't you make love to me in the way that I want you to make love to me? Yeah, okay. Can you guys understand? This relationship is utter cancer. Don't do it.
Oh, wow. I mean, that's the golden pair from Socionics, isn't it? Or one of them.
Yeah, no, not that bad, but still pretty bad.
Yeah.
Here's the truth, folks. remember, from a quadra standpoint, STP plus NFJ. Okay, that's a quadra. SFJ, NTP, that's a quadra, right? And then we have the STJ, NFP quadra. And then you have the SFP, NTJ quadra. Okay. So, this relationship and this relationship, these people should be in relationships and have mad, ravenous sex as often as possible. This relationship, this quadra should be with this quadra and have mad, ravenous sex as often as possible, okay? Never should these people have relationships within their own quadra. That equals Cancer. Oh, Cancer's horrible, right? You know, like the Cancer that's literally rotting away their humanity. No, thank you. Don't do this. So remember, understand basic compatibility, folks.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Brandy.
Yeah, look at the next super chat.
Yeah, she's laughing her ass off right now. I could see her face right now. She just wants a show. Oh, Brandy.
I feel like we should merge Who Triggered CSJ with this episode.
I know, right? Because I am triggered. Oh, by the way, stay tuned, folks. I might do an episode of Who Triggered CSJ tonight, and we'll see who triggered. We'll have to figure it out.
The triggering.
The triggering. After I have my salad.
Your salad. I'm going to eat a salad.
I'm going to eat a salad.
I'm going to eat a salad and avocado toast.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Yep.
All right, so do we need to answer Brandy, or does she know the answer?
We are going to answer Brandy, and she does know the answer. We're still going to do it anyway, because Cancer. We need to discuss the Cancer. Oh.
All right, INFP. So what's that? FI hero, any parent, SI child, TE inferior. What's ESTJ? That's like, it's TE hero. TE hero, SI parent.
I hope the person with which Brandy is referring to is watching this right now, because they so deserve to hear this. And you want to know why I like to use a knife? Specifically because people like you exist, and it just wants me to make it twist all the more. Hashtag JK, but not really, but yes. I mean, like, I too was the guy that stabbed the Night King, don't worry, but I still raised the dead anyway to serve my every whim.
Yeah,
good times. Avocado toast for the win. All right, so let's look at this. So, SI is like, I am morally superior. I am morally superior. And, well, but I am a good person. Okay, I'm a good person.
I am a good person. Wow.
Yes. I have the best reputation in the whole world. Best rep ever, you know. And I am so loyal. And, well, but I am loyaler than you. Oh, my goodness. And it's like, what do you want? You want choices? What do you want? Choices, huh? Or T Inferior is like, oh, but I want you to think highly of me, please. Think highly of me. I need it. Highly of me. Yes, hello, governor. And then it's like, okay, now what are we going to do? All right. So the TE, it's like, oh, I need you, INFP, to think highly of me. I'm so sympathetic towards you, but no, I'm more sympathetic towards you too. But I mean, I need you to think highly of me, but I don't think good about anything. I don't know what's true because it's TI demon. How come you never think highly of me? My TI demon's going to come out and I'm going to start bashing your head with my ISTP hammer. Come here, little ESTJ. The hammer's going to go on the face and the skull. Oh, no. And how come you are so hateful? You never feel good about me. You never feel good about me. If I hear it, I need to feel good about myself. And you always make me feel like crap at all times. You know, and it's like...
Oh, no.
Oh, no. I mean, pop out that Eric Cartman voice, man, because this is like literally where this is going right now.
Oh, God damn it. Yeah. Not kidding, it's a bad kitty.
Like, come
But
on.
me.
It's like, why do you never feel good about me? Well, that's because, you know, I'm worried that you're actually a good person. The INFP is literally walking around that the ESTJ is worrying that the ESTJ is a good person. Are you a good person? Are you a good person? And then the INFP is like, oh, also, I'm afraid that you're smart. I'm afraid of whether or not you're smart. I have serious doubts that you, ESTJ, are actually intelligent. I think I might be smarter than you, ESTJ. Like, oh, you really think so, huh? You think so about that? Well, I'll show you. I'm going to teach you a lesson with my SE critic for that SI parent. I'm going to teach you a lesson you never forget. ENFJ, demons coming out. I'm going to teach you a lesson you never forget. Teach you a lesson. Oh, no. And it's like, okay, yeah, are you serious? Like, come on. Yeah. All right. What's the bottom line here, folks? What's the bottom line? Jab, can you guess what the bottom line for this relationship is? Can you guess it? Can you guess it?
If you are in this relationship, you should immediately go down to your nearest forklift licensing academy, get yourself a forklift license, rent yourself a forklift for the night and a dumpster. Proceed to use your forklift to pick up the bed that your significant other is in and tip it into the dumpster.
Yes.
And then you should responsibly return that forklift and say, "Thank you very much, sir. I have used this very responsibly."
Metaphysical forklift. Yes, very, very much so. Bottom line. Let me look at it this way, and then let's actually talk. I want to add something to Brandy here. I want to add something to Brandy right now. ESTJ, INFP. Ow. Did we fall in love? I mean, did they actually fall in love? No. I have SI child. Oh, I have SI parent. Guess what, folks? If this is the only relationship that these people ever know, and that's their only experience, could they actually experience love? Did they actually understand it? But it's all they've ever experienced because I'm introverted sensing. Because introverted sensing, two SI users in the same relationship, and if this is their first relationship ever in their first marriage or whatever, they're going to stay together forever because they don't know any different. These people don't know any different. That's the problem. They don't know any different. And because they don't have that additional experience or that additional data, they end up being absolutely miserable. And guess what, folks? They make everyone else miserable in their entire life to the point where they're harming their own children because they're so miserable and they don't even know it. And then it's like, let's just stay married for the sake of the children. When in reality is they're harming their children because their relationship's so terrible and they're teaching their children to repeat the same mistakes in adulthood. What the hell? Stop. It's cancer. So remember, folks, socionics, duality relationships like ESTJ, INFP, it is cancer. You don't want that relationship.
Worthy of a forklift.
Yep. Absolute cancer. Next question, good sir.
Oh, I just want to quickly answer one of the YouTube questions because it stood out to me. Somebody's asked if an INFP goes well with an ENTJ, and he seemed a little bit scared, and the answer is yes. You lack a little bit of emotional compatibility, but you have great sexual compatibility.
Sexual compatibility is highest, yes. I completely endorse ENTJ plus INFP relationships. This is CSJ endorsed. Yes. Go for it.
Yes. Enjoy
solving every problem in your relationship with the bedroom. It works pretty well.
Well, it works. It actually works. That wasn't sarcasm. Okay, next question. Any advice on how to build long-lasting habits for SI Demon? I'm asking in general, but you can use reading as an example.
Say again.
Any advice on how to build long-lasting habits for SI Demon?
Yes, do what other successful people are doing. And Get your gym figured out. Get your hormones optimized. Clean eating. I recommend doing plant-based, high fiber. High fiber.
High fiber. High five, Java.
And
goodness gracious me.
Yeah, do all that and you're good to go. If you want to learn about how to do that, watch the Queen Archetype lecture in season 16, the second most controversial episode in CSJ history. Good job.
Right. All right. Let's try and pick up the pace a little bit because I want to get through like at least
picking up that pace. Go.
I'm an INTJ that has really good INFP friend, and we're stuck. Since he has SE Trickster and I have FE Trickster, every time we try and separate the two, one of us walks away confused. How do you tell the difference between SE and FE?
How do you tell the difference between SE and FE? SE is all about physics. FE is all about making other people feel good. Next question.
Are informatives better at explaining details of a situation, say a sales report, than directs? No.
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
I would disagree with you, but whatever.
Yeah, that's actually a really subjective answer. It really just depends because one man's trash is another man's treasure. It's different depending on the type. It's supposed to have all bases covered.
I don't know. I kind of feel like in a meeting where, you know, somebody's giving a financial report, somebody who's a bit more direct will be straight to the point and will give you all the information you need to know, whereas an informative person will ramble on and you'd get lost in the information they give you.
Yep.
Or at least that's...
people can be buried in information. The thing is, if an ESTP is doing like a sales report, they leave out too much information.
Right.
So ISTPs. The ISTP, like they're presenting in front of the classroom in 5th grade, and it's like, okay, here is my report. They did this. Thank you. And then they sit back down. It's like, okay, really? What else?
Right. Yeah. Like, my report is that finances are good and we are going to make payroll. Sits down.
Exactly.
It's like what?
What
about growth?
Drops mic.
What about growth? What about how the margin of which we're above payroll? All right, whatever. Let's go to the next question. Next question is it possible through nurture? For example, an INTP could be raised closer or further from self-actualization based on the parent's type. For instance, being raised to improve functions said wouldn't normally focus on due to parents' function stack.
What? Could you translate that for me?
Okay, the person's asking if through nurture, whether somebody could be raised further or farther away from cognitive development as a result of what types their parents are.
Oh, absolutely. It happened to me. Look at this. I was raised by an ISFJ/ENFJ couple. And you think an ENTP is going to be loved by that hashtag double affiliative family? No, not really. Because they're like,
you need to keep doing the right thing. When I'm just like, no, I want to keep doing what works. And like, no, you're manipulating the children.
I'm like, no, actually, I'm just trying to, like, turn a profit.
All right.
See what I'm saying?
But you're manipulating the children.
No, I'm actually turning a profit. I'm running a business here. You should encourage me in my entrepreneurialism, right?
Rip. All right, next question. What's your take on the verse from Genesis that says Eve is the mother of all living?
Eve is the mother of all living. I mean, that's very subjective because it depends on how you define the term living. So, which I recommend you go to it's an awesome blog, World Events and the Bible.com, and look at their studies. And there's actually like a study about the time before the Garden of Eden. And so between Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 and Genesis chapter 1 verse 2, there is a huge time span, a huge time leap that is not even accounted for in the Bible. So if you want to learn about that, go to worldevents.thebible.com and also like learn about how the Garden of Eden was actually very related to like potentially like like eating the fruit of the garden was not an actual fruit, but actually like it could actually be like, be sex, not necessarily a fruit. So like understand that there's some really interesting things that a lot of people are not teaching about biblical lore that should probably be understood. And again, to find out more, go to Brandon Ward's blog, worldeventsinthebible.com. # commercial over. Next.
I can't drag it.
Stop dragging me in and out.
I was trying to drag you up, but it like wouldn't scroll up for some fucking reason.
It happens. Right. So, did I get cut out?
Yeah, but whatever. That's only the people on Discord who didn't hear you.
Okay.
I think
cool.
They can watch the VOD if they want to hear you talk about that website. All right. Cool. So, next question. Is there a difference between how NI and NE users dream?
Yes, there is.
Really? This person's an ISFP asking such metaphysical questions?
Yeah, that happens. Especially they're older. They're probably like pretty old. But yeah.
Okay. Do you want to specify how they're different, or do you just want to say yes?
I'm just going to say yes on that one because I don't know enough about that subject. I know enough to know that they're different. I just don't know how they're different. So.
All right. I just created an account.
I'm not an expert in Jungian dream analysis. I'm just not. So I just kind of stay away from it.
All right. I want to ask a question, and then I got a link to join this. Here, I see you already asked many questions. Do you get answers too? He has live streams. How does that? Okay, so that's not really a question. That's just someone asking how it works. My question is, how do I really tell the difference between direct and informative?
Watch season 15.
Also, I might bring out an article on that.
Yep. Stay tuned for that article. Otherwise, please watch season 2 and season 15 to understand direct versus informative.
That article will probably come out within the next 2 weeks.
If you don't have the patience to completely watch those 2 episodes, I probably don't have any business answering the question.
Right. In the biblical stories, could you say that the character Lucifer trying to influence the human race through collective unconscious?
Yes, I would. Yes, I would. I'd say yes because Lucifer's hero function supposedly is extroverted intuition. So.
Really?
Yep, because Lucifer's cognition is, according to ancient lore, he's an ENTP. Next,
I've seen the argument that he's an INTJ, and he does seem very TI critic.
Not necessarily, especially if you talk with certain experts on the subject who actually know Jungian analytics in a certain way. They would actually maintain that Lucifer is a TP. But again, I don't really like discussing this topic very often because I kind of resemble that remark. So, next question.
Right. All right. If TI is fire, does FE represent water?
TI is not fire. That's actually NI, and water is NE. TI, you have to look at it like a double-edged sword, actually. And FE is like a healing salve of some kind.
Okay. Talking a lot. Okay. Somebody put some pictures up. What do you think of these? I'll send them to you real quick. Boom. 1 picture. 2 picture. What do you think of these pictures? Actually, I should put them in the YouTube chat as well. It won't let me paste it because it's more than 200 characters. Sorry.
Well, those photos are pretty dope, but I can actually put that on the live stream, so stand by.
Okay.
There you go. Basically, taking human and reality, where and all of the functions thereof, objective, subjective. It's pretty nice. I really like it. It's very well done. This is an excellent portrayal of human cognition and how things work from reality as we know it, the human reality, and it's got the elements as well. It's also a transmutation circle. Hello! And maybe where from the Celtic knot comes from. Oh, so nice. That expert intuition symbology, bro. Yep.
Right. Okay. Next question. Thank you. I was almost certain. Chase said. Okay. Hi, INFP, who got a new job in the B2B manufacturing sales. I have no sales experience, but I was on the buying side in this industry in my previous career. Which book should I read, and would you have any additional advice for me?
I don't have any specific books on sales for like someone who's an account executive, for example, like an AE. Because most of my sales experience is more marketing related, and it's not actually more sales related in that regard, other than just learn the types of who you're selling to and ego hack them. That's the best I could offer. If you don't know how to ego hack them, then watch season 21. It teaches you how to ego hack.
Perfect. Next question. What would be a good gift or way to show gratitude towards a female ENTP? Will you make a video or an article about gifts for every type?
Female ENTP. Pretty cool video game. Movie tickets, because we love the cinema. Insanely love the cinema. John Wick 3 is coming out. Why not capitalize on that? It comes out May 17th. And what female ENTP does not like John Wick? Come on. Help them go shopping. Like, seriously, help them get good outfits for themselves. So clothing, but you have to help them pick out clothes. Shopping for clothes. Also, anything that has to do with martial arts, which is pretty dope. Guns, and our particularly awesome thing that ENTP females like, knives. Oh, you want to make an ENTP happy? Give them knives.
So, oh my.
Oh yeah.
Stabby, stabby.
Stabby, stabby. You want to know why I like to use a knife? Because guns are too quick. You gotta savor the moment, Jab. You gotta savor.
Now that I think about it, I was just thinking, like, maybe a sword from their favorite TV show, or
yeah, that'd be cool.
Movie or something. Like, if they like Game of Thrones, get them like Longclaw or something.
Like a limited edition Death Note.
There you go.
Write all of the names of the people they hate in it.
Oh, that's actually a dope idea.
It is.
You're talking about your favorite gifts, huh?
Yep.
All right, next question. How does the ego relate to ego death?
How does the ego relate to ego death? To get the answer to that question, you need to watch season 17, episode 2, available on the playlist on the YouTube channel.
Perfect. Will you make a series on the interactive flow of energy between functions in different stack positions? For example, SI to SE from hero to hero?
I kind of already did with season 12, but we also talk about cognitive anchoring amongst the Ruby patrons, and that was in the April 2019 conference. It's a 2-hour conference. We have guests that show up for the first hour. We have discussion, and then the final hour, sometimes they're flipped. The final hour is me discussing concepts that I haven't discussed anywhere else within the community. That's right, folks. If you want to get in on that, become a Ruby patron to get access to the 2-hour conference every month. It is the dopest. Next question.
If I identify as an INTP, well, you don't identify. You either are or you aren't. This is
preach it.
But I am in the wrong stuck in a shadow function. How to tell which I am? I feel like maybe because I was made fun of, picked on as a child, I adopted this mask to deal, but in an alternate reality, I could have been a dancer or something. Everything I do is bound by who is watching, and I am never able to access my authentic form. Even as a kid playing in the yard, I would stop playing anytime a car drove by. I can only access the freedom around my kids when my wife is not in the room.
Sounds like INFP more so than INTP, TBH.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay. So what is the question?
So the question is, how does he tell if he's actually an INTP or if he's in his shadow or something?
By learning how to master the type grid. Next question.
Well, okay, let me just add to that really quickly.
Sure.
Type yourself when you're happy and feeling fulfilled. Why can't you be direct, movement, and initiating?
Why can't you be direct, movement, and initiating? The reason why is because of how the cognitive functions go together through cognitive axis. Cognitive axis is everything. And you learn about this in season 5. But cognitive axis basically is that SI is always attached to NE. FI is always attached to TE. TI is always attached to FE. NI is always attached to SE, etc. And then that's just kind of how it goes. You know, FI, TE, TI, FE, SI, NE. Because cognitive axes, they each have their own different interactions. They have many interactions, but when they combine, they have their own interaction styles. So that's why there is what interaction styles that exist are what exist. And you can't go outside of that. For more information, please look at Dr. Linda Barron's work.
Right. All right, next question. I was looking at a pot of soup and decided to... Okay, so sorry. Some people are just having a good old chat in the question and answer channel. What is the archetypal role of INTJ in the tribe? ENTP is the shaman. ESTP is the village chief. What's the INTJ?
ESTP is not necessarily the village chief. ENTJ could be the village chief. But the INTJ could be the military director or the general, basically, in that regard. So could the ENTJ.
Right.
There's different roles.
Or the captain of the guard or something.
Yep.
All right. Does the trope of feminine taming the masculine, Beauty and the Beast, play into order and chaos?
Say again?
Does the trope of feminine taming the masculine, say in the example of the Beauty and the Beast, play into chaos and order?
Not necessarily, because in Beauty and the Beast, the Beast was an ENTP, and Belle's an ENTJ, and ENTJs, even as females, have masculine energy, and the Beast has feminine energy, so it's technically not the feminine beating the masculine per se. So.
Okay. As a follow-up to Belle, are you planning a season about the archetypal roles of each type?
Yes.
If you
also
specifically...
analyzing Disney movies with type, of course, as well.
Oh, goodness. If you specifically think about and seek to use the trickster function, Minds SE, can you actually use it sometimes? And well, it has more frames rate than daemon function, and if it has frame rates at all, it should work, no? Well, the point of the daemon is a gateway function, so you can use it better.
Answer is no. You're just straight up unaware. It's just the difference is that your mind is trying to be aware of it. It's actually actively trying to, whereas the demon just doesn't care. It's not trying to actively. It's actually trying to avoid it. That's the difference.
Right, and
pessimistic.
Right, and the reason why the daemon function is perceived to be easier to use is because it's a gateway function. All right, what is the scientific justification on mapping interaction styles and temperaments to the archetypes?
If you want to find out more about that, you need to look at Dr. Linda Barron's work.
Right. I mean, she has them. Temperaments and interaction styles.
You could also look at Stephen Montgomery as well. PhD.
All right. If a mother represents the Garden of Eden or the cave, does the father represent the tree of knowledge and good and evil?
Yes.
Okay. No question, but this person's saying thank you to you.
Well, a father. It's a father. There's another father that represents the tree of life, by the way.
Right, so there's two fathers, and you have to choose between the tree of knowledge and good and evil and the tree of life.
And some people have argued that Cain and Abel were fraternal twins. Cain is the son of the tree of knowledge and good and evil, and Abel is the son of the tree of life, basically.
Right. Okay.
Capacity.
Okay, so this person's saying it's not a question, but thank you. They watched your Sacred Feminine lecture on the Queen archetype and provided the missing data points to my NI hero scatterplot to start the journey on getting a fibromyalgia erased from my wife's records and start the road to actually being treated for what is actually likely hypothyroidism. Wow.
Amen,
8 years of pain and 8 years of pain and suffering and downright misery, and she's been taking NDT for 3 days, and her entire battery of symptoms are lessening. Wow.
Preach it. Success! Oh, yeah, that's right. The Queen Archetype lecture, which you people for some reason don't like because if you're like, oh, you're an anti-feminist, so I can't listen to you by default because I'm like a sad NFP who just can't like handle the fact that like I'm like not good enough in that regard. Oh.
Wow, it's actually possible that an undiagnosed thyroid problems led to an idiopathic seizure disorder and mental disability in our daughter. But that's for another day. At the very least, your lecture gave us hope, and that's something we haven't had in a long time. Thanks for what you do. Okay, I want to give you a little bit of advice on seizures, because I've done a bit of research into those. What I want to tell you is...
blood-brain barrier, please.
Exactly. I think with seizures, a big component of them is a breakdown of the blood-brain barrier. And if there's a breakdown of the blood-brain barrier, there's stuff getting into the brain that shouldn't be getting into the brain. Now, the trick with repairing that is preventing seizures from occurring because seizures cause a breakdown of the blood-brain barrier. Now, you know, there's some argument in the scientific community as to whether seizures begat seizures, and I've seen doctors more recently say that that's not true and seizures don't begat seizures. But it's absolutely true because if you look into their scientific literature, they say that seizures cause a breakdown of the blood-brain barrier, and the blood-brain barrier breaking down is likely going to lead to more seizures. So seizures definitely do begat more seizures. So the trick is, you need to stop the sort of things that are getting into your brain so that they don't cause another seizure so that your blood-brain barrier can repair. Now, how do you do this? Maintain a good circadian rhythm, exercise daily, get your vitamin D, and a thing I would also recommend is antioxidants. And I would recommend within those antioxidants to get some resveratrol in your system. Resveratrol is found in pomegranate and raspberries and red grapes. Well, I think it's in raspberries. I'm not sure, but I know it's in and red wine. But you're not going to give your young daughter red wine.
I mean, in some cultures they do.
Right, but you shouldn't be consuming alcohol if you're having seizures.
Yep.
But yeah.
Also, go to theenergyblueprint.com and learn about circadian rhythm because circadian rhythm management directly impacts whether or not your blood-brain barrier is open or closed and can be a severe impact on your health and can lead to poor thyroid, low hormones, bad performance in the bedroom, as well as some other various issues as well.
Right. So yeah, sleep, exercise, vitamin D from the sun, and make sure you get some good antioxidants. And I'd also say some magnesium. Make sure your magnesium is good. So leafy greens, or either leafy greens or supplement some magnesium in your diet. But yeah, the key one's antioxidants and resveratrol. Also some vitamin C. So eat some oranges, drink some orange juice or something. Get your vitamin C up so you can strengthen your immune system. Because if you get sick while your blood-brain barrier is damaged, you may trigger another seizure.
Yep.
Okay. Let's go on to the next question. Hi, how should it... Oh, do INFJs get triggered when things are not true? Yes.
Yes, they do. Like beyond triggered, absolutely they do. And their TI child will come out and like beat you over the head with extreme prejudice in some cases and rage. So yes.
All right, next question. Hi, how should a female ESTP approach dating in order not to fall into a vice trap of ESTPs? Nymphomania. Not currently a problem, winky face. Also, avoid non-compatible types, ? I don't like one-night stands, and I only want to be with someone who I'm compatible with, but I find it hard to distinguish who is that. I'm afraid of turning away people because I assume they are an incompatible type. How can I avoid jumping to conclusions or jumping into the wrong relationships? I have a history of dating NFJs and... a history of dating an INFJ, an ISTP, and an ISFP. All was a horrible match, of course, so I tried accommodating myself to save these impossible relationships. I don't want to do these same mistakes again. Thanks. Hope you have some tips. Love your work. Master the type grid.
Master the type grid. Find men who are king, warrior, magician, and lover, for sure. If you don't know what that is, you need to be watching season 4, 6, and 13. That is season 4, 6, and 13 playlists here on the YouTube channel. You could also listen to them on the podcast. Very important. Find loyal men who are actually mature. You can find how mature they are by watching, learning about King, Warrior, Magician, Lover. A man does not have king if he doesn't have his own car, his own house, his own job, his own life, basically independent of anybody else, including roommates. If a man has a roommate, technically he's kind of not really a man. They need to be 100% independent. That's true. That's a fact. So just be aware of that. And a lot of men have that struggle. And of course, it's like, wow, well, what if I'm like from Israel and like all our families live in the same house? I mean, okay, culturally, it's a little bit different. There's different cultural requirements. So find the cultural definition of what makes you a man in your particular culture. But here's the real definition. A man who is independent is a man. It's that simple.
Right.
They need to be esteemed and respectable.
Right. I would say that even if you did live in that culture, you should build yourself up to the point where if you had to leave that household, you could be completely independent.
Yeah. Also, regarding circadian rhythm, INJs are the types that have the poorest circadian rhythm, and with ENJs is the second worst. NJs and circadian rhythm statistically are the worst and end up having poor health as a result of poor circadian rhythm. Next question.
All right, we just got a super chat come in. If an INFJ gets triggered when things are not true, then how are we supposed to easily get along with NFPs? And this is why I like NTP so much.
By verifying beliefs of the ENFP. Verifying beliefs, verifying opinions. And how you do this quite easily is from one of my favorite shows back in the day. How do you fight an idea? How to fight an idea. What's the answer, folks? How do you fight an idea? With another idea. So present new ideas to the TE user. Present studies and facts and evidence that categorically prove the TE user wrong, or break it down using logic. Otherwise, just keep verify everything.
Right. Okay. I think we can get a couple more Discord and then go to YouTube because we're coming up on 2 hours now.
Where are we at in the Discord? Date-wise?
We're up to the 22nd of March.
Okay. No, that's fine. Let's actually just go a couple of YouTube questions and call it a night.
Right. We still going to do the triggered CSJ episode?
Not sure yet. Need to eat food first.
Yeah, all right. All right, so let's do some YouTube questions. Get your YouTube questions in. I'm looking at the YouTube chat right now. Spam me with your YouTube chat questions. Let's scroll up. We'll see if somebody's asked something. Max Sargent. I think he asked something. How do you think Chase feels about enneagrams? Chase, how do you feel about enneagrams?
I already answered that question. They belong in the dumpster until I learn more about them. And honestly, it's usually only to help figure out people where they're cognitive transitioning the most. Otherwise, I have no use for the Enneagram whatsoever. ENTP with anxiety. What can I do? Basically, learn self-discipline. You have to get stronger. Right. Get stronger. Strength gets rid of anxiety. You need to be stronger. So how do you get strength? Well, a good example of that is in Altered Carbon with the girl who needed psychosurgery within Altered Carbon, and the AI system was helping her. And he taught her combat skills. So gain combat skills. How do you gain combat skills? You need to learn how to shoot. You need to learn how to stab. You need to learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Jeet Kune Do, martial arts. Develop your self-discipline and your anxiety will go away. Simple as that. I guarantee you. All right.
Another question. Are golden pairs less commonly found because they are a little too merged, too close? The answer is yes. People don't like being too naked with their golden pairs because they can read each other like books and they feel uncomfortable. But realistically, if you can have a successful relationship, you need to be comfortable being naked around your partner, both physically and metaphysically.
Yep. Freckle Snap asks, do the 5 love languages correlate to type? Yes, they do, but only from a default standpoint. Nurture can get in the way and adjust people's love languages. I knew a particular person recently who by default would have physical touch and quality time as their top 2 love languages, but in reality, because of the nature of their vocation in real life, they ended up having gifts and words of affirmation being the number 1, because they view physical touch as something that they utilize for their day-to-day, for their job. And this could happen all the time, even with like a massage person and whatnot, or worse if you think about it. But like those kinds of jobs lend people to not really care that much about physical touch, even though that would be their primary love language. But through the nurture of their life and in that way, it's not as important to them.
All right, we got a super chat. INTJ, avoid guilt from lazy procrastination versus depression from forcing myself to do stuff. Any heuristic/algorithm to balance work? Yes, create your own system, create deduce what you think is a fair balance of work versus play, and then build yourself on that system. Like, I'm going to do 2 hours of work, then I'm going to do an hour of play, and then I'm going to do 2 hours of work, then I'm going to do an hour of play, then I'm going to do 2 hours of work, and I'm going to take the rest of the day off to do whatever the hell I want. Something like that. Make your own system as to balancing these two. But
I couldn't have said it any better myself.
It's going to be entirely dependent on every person. Every person's an individual, even among INTJs.
Any advice for an INTP trying to get along with an ISTP? Just recognize that the ISTP is more right than you and more correct than you are. Okay, no, that's not true. Just pretend that they are, and then you're good to go.
All right. How does sexual compatibility work, for example, between an ENFP and an INTJ? Well, sexual compatibility...
If you want to learn about sexual compatibility, you should become a Patreon Gold subscriber at patreon.com/csjoseph and watch our lectures, our private lectures on romantic compatibility that have the answers to that question.
Perfect. Way to plug your Patreon, bruh.
Amen.
All right. Coin slot is lubricated.
Amen.
Please enter. I think we need to get some lights and some casino slot machine sounds on me. Like... Yep. Ding, ding, ding. All right, next question. How to get a self-centered, stubborn ESFP father to help support / give money to adult child with chronic illness. He has plenty of money, takes lots of vacations, helps others, and throws money around.
First things first, take him to court. Give him the freedom of choice with how to interact with the child. Also, demonstrate loyalty to him.
Wait, adult child? What's an adult child? With chronic illness, is that like a adult who's like mentally handicapped, so they behave like a child?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't have enough experience or knowledge to actually really answer that question. So,
advice for INTP to get self out of failure to launch. Self-discipline, Jeet Kune Do.
Yep. Next.
Any advice for determining whether you're an INFP or an INTJ? That doesn't involve skill in dancing.
Next Golden Pair vid comes out Friday, Helen, and it's literally rendering right now. I filmed it earlier today. In fact, that's it right there on the board. That is the 7th Golden Pair, which is ENTP, INTJ relationships, and it is well over an hour. So it is the dopest. And I was literally yelling at the camera. It melted.
Right. The camera spontaneously combusted from the awesomeness it was seeing.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Damn, I was already doing that. Thanks, I guess. That's my TXP. Yeah, so any advice on determining INFP versus INTJ? I mean, just determine affiliative versus pragmatic. That should be pretty straightforward. I think we have an article coming out on that very soon as well. So that should help you.
Any tips for an ENTP to help an INFJ partner develop their introverted thinking, from Nick Glop? And the answer to that is to provide them with input. Give them stuff to read. Articles, blog posts, anything interesting, memes, as well as books. That's the best way to get that TI child from coming out, and then debating them on those things.
You mean, yeah, TI child. Adult child generally means any offspring who are 18 plus. But so it's an 18 plus year old child who has a chronic illness, and the mother wants the father to help pay for some of the expenses.
Liam Tyler's like, how can an ENTJ overcome the obstacle of NI parent? What do you mean by that? Like, why is NI parent an obstacle? You need to develop NI parent to become more responsible as a human being, as a man anyway. So definitely do that. It's not about being impulsive with your SE child. You want to make sure that you're just being responsible with what you want instead of irresponsible.
Okay, so I think the question with regards to the adult child one with the ESFP father is the adult so it's a 18 plus child of theirs who has a chronic illness, and the mother wants the father to assist in paying the bills given how wealthy the father is.
Again, I cannot offer any advice because I don't know the nature of the chronic illness, but that would be too private to be talking about over a live stream.
Right. How to fix myself. I think I'm smarter than everyone. I think everyone else is retarded near me. Well, that might very well be true if you're an INTP or an INTJ.
Maybe you should offer help.
Yeah, offer help. What else we got? INTJs can have relationships, ? Lameo. Yes, of course we can.
What is the best way to self-type between an INTJ and an ENTP? Learn the type grid. Watch season 2 and season 15 to learn how to use it properly. And don't just cherry pick from the lectures. Actually watch every single one of them, regardless of sound quality, and torture yourself endlessly until you finish them.
Right. I mean, if you're complaining about sound quality, there's a good chance you're an ENTP. All right. Let's see. What else have we got?
I think I'm good there, Jab.
Yeah, we wrap it up now?
Hours. Yeah, we're wrapping up. We just broke 2 hours. So
we just broke 2 hours. That's usually more than usual. We only go to like 1.5 to 2. We went the higher end.
Well, we haven't done a question and answer in a while, so I wanted to give it its due. So
yeah, I understand. All right, so that's it. Let's wrap it up. Thank you all for coming. Remember, we have a Patreon. If you want to support us, please do support us. I mean, if you don't have the money, we're more than happy. I mean, we're providing this content for free, most of it at least. Of course, we need to entice the patrons with some other stuff. But for the most part, we're providing this content for free. You know, you don't have to give us anything. But if you do, we're very appreciative. We're trying to... This isn't just like... This is more than a business. This is a movement, and we're trying to change the world here. So
exactly.
if you have any excess dólares in your wallet, feel free to slide them into the coin slot.
Necesitamos muchos dólares, por favor, señores. Necesito más dinero. Más dinero por mi amigo, señor Jab. Señor Jab en los Estados Unidos. ¿Sí? ¿Sí, señor Jab?
Yeah, I mean...
coming to the U.S.? Coming to the U.S., Jab? That's why...
Oh, yeah, that's the announcement I need to make. See this right here? I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm like fanning something into the microphone. That's actually my Australian passport. It came in the mail like 2 days ago. And I will be planning a trip to the United States within the next coming months.
And then you folks will see Jab here on stream live with me in person. It's going to be great.
Yeah, eating salads and avocado toast with Chase.
Damn right.
Chase, would you be offended if I just took the toast, didn't put avocado, and instead of avocado, I put like some olive oil on it or something?
No, I wouldn't. Not remotely.
Okay, perfect. Because that's the Mediterranean way of... toast with olive oil is the Mediterranean way of doing it.
Never not Mediterranean it out.
Yeah, maybe add some oregano.
Oregano.
Wow. I am not saying that.
I am not saying that, but thank you, Marky Mark. All right. Cool, folks. Y'all have a good night. Thank you for coming. We will be back with Q&A in the future. Every Tuesday is How to Type, 9 Eastern. Most of our live streams go out 9 Eastern on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Be aware of that, including our fictional typing. We're going to be having a Game of Thrones episode coming up very soon for those of us who are watching Game of Thrones, and those of us no, we're not. So
yeah, that's tomorrow, isn't it?
I am not entirely sure about that, but we will definitely see. I think I will have little small children running about here, and we'll see how that goes.
That's okay. That's okay. We can see your children in the background.
Okay, cool. All right, well, see you later, folks. You have a good night. We might have another episode of Who Triggered CSJ shortly, just depending on what I have left to do for the evening. So I'll see you folks next time. Later.
Later, Gator. See you all later.